Hey, what's up, everybody? Gonna do a complimentary quad reaction here, man. This is covering the music of The Who, Artist of the Month for April, and man, I tell you, it's been really awesome. All of the content that I've been soaking up of The Who. Now, so we've got all four of these songs are going to be live captures. So starting with Heaven and Hell, coming out of Tanglewood MA in 1970, followed by Water, same concert venue, Tanglewood MA in 1970 as well. Then followed by The Naked Eye, that's 1975 to Summit in Houston. And finally, Drown, from the 1979 Secret Policeman's Ball. That's at Her Majesty's Theatre in London in June of '79. So, man, that's excellent. I'm looking forward to these live performances. Always a lot of entertainment and great energy coming from The Who. I just want to give a shout out and a thanks very much to Larry Hartman. Larry, thank you very much. I appreciate you sending me these recommendations. It's been a little bit of a back and forth with Larry and I, but finally I think that we've got it nailed down, man. So I'm looking forward to this, The Who live, man. So let's kick it off with our first, man, and that being Heaven and Hell, coming from Tanglewood. All right, The Who, Heaven and Hell. Let's get it. Right away.
On top of the sky is a place where you go if you've done nothing wrong. If you've done nothing wrong. And down in the ground is a place where you go. You've been a bad boy.
Gotta love Pete. Roger's pretty skilled with that damn mic. I wonder if he's ever hit anybody. telling you, serious energy. Great, fantastic energy. That is one of the best things about them live. They might not have the best sound, crisp, clear. Their playing might not be as precision or as tight or whatever else. You can knock all of the cons you want. But man, the energy, the delivery, the spirit of it all, fantastic. All those little skips that Pete does, and Roger swinging his mic around, and of course there's Keith, and then that nice, easy, cool, as a cucumber kind of persona that John has. It's just a very interesting dynamic to witness and watch, man. They're really, really lots of fun to watch. Definitely, I'll give them that, man. So, interesting song, interesting subject matter, very, very straightforward. If you're good, you go to heaven. If you're bad, you go to hell. All right, so do a little, sorry here. I got a bunch of Wikipedia pages open, and I don't have them in sequence. All right, there we go. Heaven and Hell. Heaven and Hell. Heaven and Hell is a song by English rock band The Who, written by group bassist John Entwistle. The studio version, originally recorded for an April 1970 BBC session, which appeared on the B-side of the live Summertime Blues single, is currently available only on the 30 Years of Maximum R&B box set and Who's Missing, though several live versions of the song exist on official releases. The song was one of many Entwistle B-side singles and one of his live staples. Alright, lyrical meaning. The song's lyrics talk of the places known as heaven and hell. The song describes heaven as a place where you go if you've done nothing wrong, and hell as a place where you go if you've been a bad boy, unquote. That's John Entwistle. That's a quote from John. John Entwistle stated his stance on heaven and hell in an interview. The last lyric ballad of the song, "Why Can't We Have Eternal Life and Never Die, Never Die?" I've always been obsessed with the idea of heaven and hell. Not obsessed that it's true, but just obsessed that it's sort of legend. There's such a person as the devil, unquote. That's John. Live history. Heaven and Hell first appeared in '68 and was used to start live shows during The Who's Tommy tours in '69 and '70, including the shows recorded for Live at Leeds, Live at Hall at Kilburn in '77, plus Live at the Coliseum, and Live at the Isle of Wight Festival in 1970, although the version at Leeds was not released until the album's remastering. The band opened their early morning set at Woodstock with this song. After 1970, the song was replaced by another Entwistle composition, My Wife, in the act. It was briefly brought back in October of 1975 during the beginning of the UK leg of the Who by Numbers tour, but after that was never performed live again by the Who, although Entwistle continued to perform it at his solo shows regularly. Yeah, that song, man, it's a great energy song, and the way they perform it live, definitely. It's too bad. Entwistle solo versions. The song was re-recorded by Entwistle for his solo album, Smash Your Head Against the Wall, a longer version featuring a horn section. This version was included on the Entwistle compilation album, So Who's the Bass Player? The Ox Anthology. Right, that's right, he's known as the Ox. The Ox because he's such a solid bassist, or that he was a really large man. He was tall and he had some mass about him. Is that why? Or was it just his solid bass playing? Let me know about that if you know your Who stuff. Alright, man, so that is Wikipedia Song Fact info on Heaven and Hell. Interesting song and definitely a fantastic live, great song to perform live. Lots of energy in that song. So let's bounce to our second track, man, and that being Water. Oh, it's long too, man. It's 9 minutes long. All right, I'm ready. The Who, Water. And that's in Tanglewood, Mass. Let's get it.
The foreman over there hates the gang. Poor people out of boats getting so rough. Truck driver drives like the devil. Ooh, the policemen, they're acting so tough. We need water, good water. We need water. And I'm sure there ain't one of us here who'd say no to somebody's daughter. Maybe somebody's daughter. Samson seemed sort of sweaty. The jasmine they smudged they were. Captain, now the ship is swimming. Man just want to be banker. We need water. Good water. We need water. And maybe somebody's daughter. Would you give me good water? Oh, give me good water. Come on, give me good water. Please don't refuse me, mister. I've seen your daughter at the Oasis, and I'm beginning to blister. My Chevrolet just made steel. Your crop is laying fire. My grass just lost its green. I'm alive, but I don't know how. We need water. Good water. We need water. And maybe somebody's daughter. Baby. Give me all I need.
jam.
Indian Lake is burning. New York skyline is hazy. The river Thames is turned dry. The whole world is blazing. We need water. We need water. And maybe somebody's daughter.
All of that hopping in the middle of the guitar solo. Still staying on point.
Come on, give me good water. You say that's all I need. Wow, come on, Lord, give me water. Ooh. Come on, baby, come on. Give me good water.
Solid rhythm section. Just listening to the relationship between the bass and the drums, backing them up.
You say, hey, all I need is water. Yeah, good water. Give me water. I'm sure there ain't one of us here who'd say no to somebody's daughter.
Wow. That was a great extended jam. Almost 9 minutes. Neat to see a little bit more of Pete doing those extended guitar solos, man. And in between it all, he's got enough presence of mind and timing to do a couple of hops and skips. Entertaining as hell, man. Just watching these guys do their thing. Really entertaining. Water, yeah, I heard this. This was, which album was it on now? I think it was it on Who's Next? I think. But I've heard the song before. And recently, so I know it was in one of the lineups of the albums. I think it was on Who's Next. Anyway, well, let me go and check it out for sure, man. Great performance there. Great energy. They're really playing well. Just the bass and the drums, man, keeping everything together and solid. Yo, I can see why so many of you like John Entwistle's playing. He really keeps everything together, doesn't he? Yeah, fantastic. And of course, Keith is always consistent, um, always playing a consistent drum roll. You can always count on that. But yeah, man, the rhythm section definitely is on point. I put him up there. I put him up there in the top five. Where do you put them? You know, they're definitely rubbing shoulders with the two Johns and with Getty and Neil, Geezer and Bill. Who else? There's more, I'm sure. Don't scream at the screen. I'm sure. I'm just off the top of my head under pressure. Sometimes I can't think that fast, so don't yell at me through the screen. All right. So, Water. There we go. There's my page. Water. Water appears on the album Who's Next in the 1995 bonus tracks edition and the 2003 deluxe edition. Who's Next is the fifth studio album by English rock band The Who. It developed from the aborted Lifehouse project, a multimedia rock opera written by Pete Townshend as a follow-up to the band's 1969 album Tommy. The project was cancelled owing to its complexity and to conflicts with Kit Lambert, the band's manager, but the group salvaged some of the songs without the connecting story elements to release as their next album. The Who recorded Who's Next with assistance from recording engineer Glenn Johns. After producing the song Won't Get Fooled Again in the Rolling Stones mobile studio, they relocated to Olympic Studios to record and mix most of the album's remaining songs. That Rolling Stones mobile studio, man, really got a lot of use back in the day. That alone probably made them billionaires, man, just renting out that studio. They made prominent use of their synthesizer on the album, particularly on Won't Get Fooled Again and Baba O'Reilly, which were both released as singles. Who's Next was an immediate success when it was released in August of '71. It has since been viewed by many critics as The Who's best record and one of the greatest albums of all time. It was reissued on CD several times with additional songs originally intended for Lifehouse. The 2003 Deluxe Edition. The first disc of the Deluxe Edition contains the 9 tracks from the original album containing the original mix, followed by 6 outtakes of which Getting in Tune and Won't Get Fooled Again were previously unreleased. Each of the 6 outtakes were recorded during the Record Plant sessions in March of '71 before work restarted in the UK. The tracks on the second disc were recorded live on the 26th of April in '71 at the Young Vic Theatre in London. All of the tracks were previously unreleased except for Water and Naked Eye. According to Acclaimed Music, Who's Next is the 35th most ranked record in critics' lists of the all-time greatest albums. In 2003, Rolling Stone ranked it 28th on its list of the 500 greatest albums of all time, maintaining the rating in a 2012 revised list. The album appeared at number 15 on Pitchfork Media's list of the 100 best records from the 1970s. It was also included in the book of 1001 Albums You Must Hear Before You Die. That's in 2005. In 2007, it was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame for lasting, qualitative, or historical significance. It was voted number 48 in Colin Larkin's all-time top 1,000 albums, 3rd edition. Wow, major great accomplishments for that album, and all of the tracks on it, man. No filler songs, just fantastic album. Alright, so let's bounce to our 3rd track, man, and that being Naked Eye. Alright, The Who, Naked Eye, and it doesn't say where Naked Eye is. Let me go back. Yeah, it's in 75, The Summit, Houston, Texas. Alright, The Who, Naked Eye. Let's get it.
in your little door and walk out in the air. Stars are all connected to the brain. Find me a woman and I'll lay down on the ground. Pleasure comes falling down like rain. Give myself a car, give hours I fly. Well, now I'm really in control. It all looks fine to the naked eye, but it don't really happen that way at all. You sign your own name, and I sign mine. They're both the same, but we still get separate rooms. You can cover up your guts, but when you cover up your nuts, you admit that there must be something wrong. Press any button, milk and honey flows. The world begins behind your neighbor's wall. It all looks fine to the naked eye, but it don't really happen that way at all. Don't happen that way at all.
Throw your shoulders at it, something. All right. The Naked Eye. Another song that I remember hearing. And again, I really give props to John, man. His bass really makes that song very, very, I don't know. I'm just homing in on the bass, what he was doing with the bass guitar, man. Fantastic. It just made that song come to life a little bit more, you know. Of course, the vocals and Pete's solo was excellent too, but it's the bass that owns that song for me, you know. Great tune. Really good live cut as well, man. It seems to be a lot more to this particular feed, but hey, you know, it's all good. 5 minutes long, so it's definitely not a short song. Let's check this out, man. Get a little background on Naked Eye. And it's good, you know, because going into these songs, you get more detail of the actual song itself rather than just the whole album, you know. So I like doing more so quads because you can hone in on the specific song. As sometimes, you know, you don't have specific song information, you know, mainly album information sometimes, but the odd time, you know, you have specific song information and there's information about that song. There's a story behind it. There's all of these different accounts for the motivation and what the song meant to the band and stuff like that. So that's the stuff that I really like to uncover. So let's see, having said all that, let's see if Naked Eye is one of those songs, man, that has information on it. Yeah, and it does. Naked Eye has good info here. It isn't just album info. Alright, so Naked Eye. Naked Eye is a song by The Who, written by Pete Townshend. The studio version was released on the group's 1974 compilation album Odds and Sods, reissued in '98. Live versions appear on Live at the Isle of Wight in 1970, View from a Backstage Pass, Greatest Hits Live, 30 Years of Maximum R&B, and both reissues of Who's Next. Yeah, the 98 and 2003 that we just read about. Background. Naked Eye was originally planned to be released on the 1970 Who EP entitled 6 Feet Wide Garage, 7 Feet Wide Car, a collection which was also to include Water, I Don't Even Know Myself, and Postcard. There were also plans to release a live version of the song, but neither plan materialized. This is a quote here. This is a quote from Pete. Quote, "Another track from the EP. This number was written around a riff that we often played on stage at the end of our act around the time we were touring Early Tommy. It came to be one of our best stage numbers. This was never released before. We always hoped we would get a good live version one day. But then we're such a lousy live group." And that's Pete speaking there. Alright, so recording. The band likely began recording the song in 1970 during sessions for an EP that was eventually aborted when Townshend began focusing on his Lifehouse rock opera. These same sessions also yielded I Don't Even Know Myself, Water, Postcard, and Now I'm a Farmer. It was eventually completed in the spring of 1971 during sessions for Who's Next, which included several numbers originally intended for Lifehouse. Man, Lifehouse, that would have been quite, I guess it would have been a film, right? Same as Quadrophenia, same as Tommy. That would have been excellent, man. And I would like to know what the premise of the film would have been, what the story, you know, what the struggle would have been, that sort of thing, details. If you know details about what Lifehouse would have been about, the actual film, the story behind it, let me know, man. That would have been interesting. Live history. Naked Eye was debuted in live form during the band's American tour in June and July of 1970, generally as part of long medleys during My Generation. These versions never included the third verse, which wasn't heard until 1971. The song was a regular part of the group's act in 71 and 72, again usually following My Generation, then became a frequent encore in 73 and 74. It appeared less often in the band's 75 to 76 shows and was played for the last time with Keith Moon during the group's concert at Madison Square Garden in New York March 11th, 1976. Since then, it's been performed during each era of the band's existence, though never regularly. Okay, and that is song fact info for Naked Eye. Alright, man, so let's check out our final track, and that being Drown. And Drown is in 79 from the Secret Policeman's Ball, performed at Her Majesty's Theatre in London, June of 79. Alright. And I believe it's a solo, just Pete doing his own thing. So, Drown, Pete Townshend. Let's get it.
There are men high up there fishing, haven't seen quite enough of the world, but I ain't seen a sign of my hero, and I'm still diving down for pearls. Let me flow into the ocean, let me get back to the sea, let me be stormy and let me be calm, let the tide in and set me free. I'm flowing under bridges, then I'm flying through the sky. I'm traveling down cold metal, I'm just a tear in a baby's eye. Let me flow into the ocean, let me get back to the sea, let me be stormy and let me be calm, let the tide in rush over me. Oh yeah. I am not the actor, this can't be the scene, but I am in the water as far as I can see. Drown in your love, in your sweet, sweet love. Ooh, yeah. I'm remembering distant memories, recalling other names. I'm rippling over canyons, then I'm gonna boil in the train. Let me flow into the ocean, yeah, let me get back to the sea. Let me be stormy and let me be calm, let the tide in rush over me. Let the tide in set me free. I wanna drown.